book of Proverbs was written by King Solomon, King of Israel. We are now about to study the book of Proverbs chapter 15. We have named this section, we've named it Positivity for the Positive. And it's divided into two different sections. The healing effects of wisdom is one, the other is a good heart. We shall begin with the healing effects of wisdom, that is Proverbs 15, verses 1 to 7. Proverbs 15:1 says, a soft answer turns away wrath, that is anger, turns away anger. But a harsh word stirs up anger. And this is true. Very often a calm, a collected, a respectable reply, it allays anger, it calms a person, it calms someone who's angry or irritable. It can calm people down, and this is something we should know. Talk softly, answer softly, and be calm even when the other people get in a panic, when other people are angry or very disturbed for some reason or other. Keep calm, answer calmly, and you will have a very good effect, a healing effect on others. And the opposite applies. Don't say bad things, don't say things that are irritable or that irritate others. Don't insult others, don't be superfluously nasty. Be good, be kind, be positive towards others. It doesn't cost money, it's the best policy, it's good for you, it's good for everyone else. So use your head, do things, the goodness is good for everyone. And this is what we should do, this is what we should think of doing, should try to do. This is beyond the question of good and evil, of what God Almighty wants us to do. He wants us to act well. But also for our own self-interest, we should also realize that all of these exhortations and words of wisdom we find in the Bible, they are also for our own personal benefit. Proverbs 15:2 says, the tongue of the wise uses knowledge rightly, but the mouth of fools pours forth foolishness. This expression uses knowledge rightly in Hebrew is tativ dart. Tativ dart, in other words, do well, do good. Dart means knowledge or comprehension or knowing, to know. And tativ means to make well, to make good. And wise people not only teach us things and give us knowledge, but they also enable us to acquire the depth of knowing. They enable us to be masters of the knowledge that we acquire, to know how to use it and to use it well and to make it a part of us. 15:3 says, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good. God sees everything, and we should not forget this. Sometimes we couldn't live if we remembered it all the time, but this is a fact. You should always keep it in our subconscious. The Almighty knows and sees everything, and He will bring us in judgment for the good and for the bad that we may or may not do. 15:4 says, a wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perversiveness in it breaks the spirit. In other words, a wholesome tongue in Hebrew, a marpe loshen. Marpe loshen, literally speaking, marpe is healing, loshen is tongue. A healing tongue, a tongue which makes things better, that repairs things, enables others to get over whatever problems or obstacles that lay in their path. This is what a healing tongue is. And this gives life. This is a tree of life for the person who has this gift or acquires this gift, endeavors to make this part of the principles by which he lives. This is a tree of life for him and for others. And the opposite, perverseness of someone who goes contrary to everyone, who looks for the bad or the perverse in everything, and he breaks the spirit of others. And so we should realize this. Sometimes some of us get into the habit of saying things we don't really mean, or being just nasty, and we should realize that this is contrary, this is negative for everyone, including the person doing it. 15:5 says, Proverbs 15:5 says, a fool despises his father's instruction, but he who receives correction is prudent. We should try and learn from everyone, especially those who are genuinely concerned about us. When it says he who receives correction is prudent, in Hebrew we may also render this verse as he who keeps in mind reproof will become shrewd. Shomer tochacha ya'arim. In other words, someone who hears what others say, don't have to necessarily accept the criticisms of others. It may be mistaken, it may not be in that place, maybe even ulterior motives behind it. Nevertheless, we should keep it in mind, take note of it. And that is what we should, there's a general rule. When someone says something bad about you, don't have to accept it. You can, in practice, you may ignore it under certain circumstances, but you should, at the same time, you should keep it in mind, keep it up there, keep it in the overall input that you need when you make decisions. This too should be taken into account. 15:6 says, in the house of the righteous there's much treasure, but the revenue of the wicked is trouble. Righteous people value everything, give value to simple things. To be with the righteous people is a blessing. Even a simple meal with righteous people is enjoyable. Wicked people, even when they are rich, are not really worth being with. It's not enjoyable. They hurt. Wicked people hurt others. Doesn't matter how much money they have or how much they may be able to benefit us. It's not really worth being with them. People, good people, wise people, even when they haven't got anything, they are valuable. 15:7 says, the lips of the wise disperse knowledge, the heart of the fool does not do so. The word translated as disperse in Hebrew is yizaru, from the root zara, to scatter, to spread out, to disperse, but also, the same word yizaru can also be derived from another root, mezar, which means to heal. And in Hebrew, in the Hebrew writings in the Bible, very often when more than one meaning may be derived from a word, or the word may be understood to have more than in more than one way, the various ways of understanding are what have been intended. That is why the word was chosen and placed where it is in the way it was, in order that it should have more than one meaning, and that we should learn from it. And so we see the wise, they spread teaching and their knowledge as a healing effect. The second part of Proverbs chapter 15, verses 8 to 33 is under the heading of a good heart, and 15:8 says, the sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. So God doesn't want the sacrifice of the wicked, and we all make the mistake sometimes of thinking that we can bribe God, do things and then do bad things and then perhaps make up for it in some other way. And there are sources of this. Perhaps we can to some degree, but God knows what is going on, and he knows us better than we know ourselves. And so we should realize this, and the Almighty may not be pleased with our bad, or even when we attempt to do good, we haven't got sufficiently genuine intentions behind what we do. This too might get us in trouble. 15:9 says, Proverbs chapter 15 verse 9 says, the way of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but he loves him who follows righteousness. 15:10 says, harsh discipline is for him who forsakes the way, and he who hates correction will die. 15:11 says, hell and destruction are before the Lord, so much more the hearts of the sons of men. 15:12 says, the scoffer does not love one who corrects him, nor will he go to the wise. 15:13 says, a merry heart makes a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the spirit is broken. And so anyway, the first section of this verse, 15:13, May be read, as a merry heart makes a cheerful countenance, but may also be read as if a happy heart, a happy heart makes for a positive face, and a cheerful expression makes the heart feel better. It works both ways. Smile at people, speak well to them. In other words, not only does a person who is cheerful inside have a pleasant expression on his face, but someone who puts a pleasant expression on their face will be happy. It's a principle in rabbinical thought that very often the emotions follow the actions. Even if you might be depressed, angry, irritable, I don't know, not feeling well, be happy, be positive towards people, smile at them, try and be nice to them, speak well to them, and you will feel better. You will feel better, not apart from the good effects you will have on others. You yourself will benefit from it. This is well known, but we tend to forget it. It's an obvious truth. It's something which is so obvious that we don't even mention it, hardly ever mention it, and therefore people don't take account of it. This is like the famous song, "When Irish eyes are smiling, short is like the moon in spring. In the lilt of Irish laughter you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure they steal your heart away." So that's it. People who are happy, who have delight in their eyes, the delight of living, they radiate something and they give it out to others. And it's contagious. It's contagious in the good sense that it makes other people feel better. And this is something of importance. This is a contribution that we can make. All of us can make this contribution without much effort. And this is what we are here for, to do what we can as well as we can. 15:14 says, "The heart of him who is understanding seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on foolishness." So that is, we are being told here that we should talk well, be in places where the conversation is positive. By chance you find yourself in some place where the people are talking rubbish, or talking not even rubbish is not that bad, but they're talking badly, they're talking maliciously about others, or they're just talking in a negative manner. Get away from them, go away from them, go somewhere else if you can. It's not worth it. 15:15 says, "All the days of the afflicted are evil, but he who is of a merry heart has a continuous feast." The expression translated as a merry heart, in Hebrew is tov lev, literally a good heart. Tov is good, lev is heart. Lev is heart. So where you get the English word love from. We must have a similar Hebrew word, lavav. Lavav means like very much, or lavavi means likable. And these are all from the same root of lev, heart, and this is where we get the English word love from. You love with your heart. A lot of English words come from Hebrew, or may be explained through the Hebrew language. And this itself is an interesting phenomenon. Proverbs 15:16 says, "Better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure with trouble." It's better. 15:17 says, "Better is a dinner of herbs." Uruk in Hebrew, greens, where love is, than a fattened calf with hatred. 15:18 says, "A wrathful man stirs up strife, but he who is slow to anger allays contention." So stay calm, calm others, avoid speaking in anger to other people. As we said, when others get angry, try not to respond in kind, but be a calming and beneficial influence on your surroundings. 15:19 says, "The way of the lazy man is like a hedge of thorns, but the way of the upright is a highway." So we should realize laziness in the Bible is considered a vice. It's a bad thing. Doesn't mean you have to go crazy and go around worrying everyone and doing things all day long, but you should at least do what you have to do and do it as well you can when you can. It's a principle. 15:20 says, "A wise man makes a father glad, but a foolish man despises his mother." The word in the expression "a foolish man despises his mother" in Hebrew is bozeh, which also means bring shame to. So in the street amongst low-life people, when they're angry at someone, they say the son of such and such a woman. And when you ask them what do they mean by this, They don't mean that the woman was actually, as they are describing her, but she wasn't up to standard. She must not have been as good as she should have been, otherwise her children would have turned out better. So this may or may not be true, but it's a strongly held sentiment, and this applies in other ways. We are responsible for what emanates from us. We are responsible for what we do, and we are responsible for our children, to some degree at least. And this is reality. Proverbs 15:21 says, "Folly is joy to him who is destitute of discernment, but a man of understanding walks uprightly." So he who is destitute of discernment, in Hebrew, choser lev, lacks the heart. So we learn from this that if you develop fear of heaven, fear of God, belief in the Bible, positive attitudes, a positive outlook, empathy for other people, sympathy, then we will automatically act correctly. Things will come from us or go out from us as they should do. We shall become wise. The opposite applies to those who take a negative attitude. They're liable to hurt themselves and others, even though they do not mean to. They become foolish. So we should be aware of this. In Hebrew they have an expression, ein epis, it's not nothing. What's it mean, not nothing? There's, in other words, every effect or every cause has an effect. Every attitude we take, everything we do has an effect. And therefore we should try and do everything well and good, have a good intentions behind it. Because then the effects will be positive. And this is the way things go. You can't get away from things. You can't do things and expect them to take place in a vacuum, that they won't influence others. We can't, in a secret dark corner, do bad things and expect them not to have repercussions, because they do. But this is reality, and through learning the Bible, through learning the book of Proverbs, we may know how to act altogether. And God willing, and life is not easy always, and this can be of help to us. 15:22 says, "Without counsel, plans go awry. With the multitude of counselors they are established." 15:23 says, "A man has joy by answer of his mouth." And a word spoken in good due season, how good it is. 15:24 says, "The way of life winds upward for the wise, that he may turn away from hell below." 15:25 says, "The Lord will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the boundary of the widow." That God looks after the downtrodden, and that those of the heart of lucky, he looks after them. He will help them, and he'll help them come through if they remain steadfast. He will. God is not someone who does not shortchange other people. You do things as you should do, and you will be helped, and you will receive a reward for it. And the opposite direction. 15:26 says, "The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord. The words of the pure are pleasant." And here this could also be translated. When we say it could also be translated, we're not saying the first translation is wrong. We are saying that it may be alternately translated, and it is so composed in the Hebrew original that both translations are applicable, and this was the intention when it was written down. So, in other words, the verse says, or the last section of the verse says, "The words of the pure are pleasant." May also be understood from the Hebrew to say, pleasant words are pure and purifying. In other words, we cannot always control our thoughts, at least not most of us. We can, however, determine what we say. By saying good words of positive intent, we can purify our own inner bad thoughts and impulses. In other words, what you can do. What you can't do. So through doing what you do, you will be able to rectify what was lacking in what you could not do. And this is also obvious, but it's so important to remember, because this too is one of those things which we all know, but we all tend to forget. 15:27 says, "He who is greedy for grain troubles his own house, but he who hates bribes will live." The word translated as bribes in Hebrew is matanot yeheh. Literally, someone who hates receiving presents will live and he will receive vitality. In other words, be self-sufficient and don't take things that don't belong to you, and don't take charity when you do not need it. And this is a good advice at all times for everyone. But each person has to live and act and react according to the circumstances of his own situation. 15:29 says, the Lord is far from the wicked, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. 15:30, the light of the eyes rejoices the heart, and a good report makes the bones healthy. 15:31 says, the ear that hears the rebukes of life will abide among the wise. The rebukes of life, that is, take notes of what happened to you, of what happens to others. Look around, see, keep your eyes and ears open, and learn from it. Learn from the mistakes of others and don't do them. Learn from your own mistakes and don't repeat them. And as we said, these things are obvious, but we all forget, and we all overlook the same things which life is trying to teach us, which God through life is directing us. We sometimes tend to disregard it at our own expense. 15:32 says, he who disdains instruction despises his own soul, but he who heeds rebuke gets understanding. In other words, listen, take heed, learn and apply your learning. It's the saying in Israel, whatever you do to yourself. Do good and good will come to you, do bad and bad will it be. 15:33 says that the fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. Be humble. Be humble and you will be honored. Don't go thinking that you're good, or don't listen to others who flatter you, or don't think how good you look, because it often happens, and we all have experiences of this, just when we think things are good and how good we are and how successful we might be, then we get a blow. Then it comes on us. We have to keep ourselves, keep focused, keep detached, and keep humble, and go ahead and do what we have to do, because in the end we'll have to answer to ourselves. We have to answer to ourselves and to God for what we have and have not done, and what people think or do not think about us. That is irrelevant. It's not irrelevant, because this comes into the overall box, the overall collection of considerations by which we shall be judged. But it is a minor thing. Do not be misled by other people praising you, or do not be misled by thinking how successful you might be or how well you're doing before you have finished doing what you have to do. And this too shall pass. This was a story of a king, a famous king, I think, and sometimes attributed to King Solomon, but also as the king of France, who applied it. He used to carry around with him a little a note saying, this too will pass. No matter how good it might get, you have to be aware that you will be judged for whatever you do and what you do not do. So do as well as you can, because this is your chance. This is a chance you have to do well. May God bless all of us and be with all of us. Thank you very much. This is Yair David. I've been speaking to you from Jerusalem, the capital of Israel. And I've been speaking to you on behalf of Brit and Hebrew nations. And this is an ongoing series in our commentary on the book of Proverbs that was written by King Solomon. Thank you.